All right, all right, all right. Welcome, everybody. Hold on a sec. I just realized I don't even have my microphone properly plugged in. So you're just hearing my. How does that sound? Does that sound any better?
Yeah, it's coming through fine, man.
Yeah, good. Okay, cool. Wow. So, I mean, yeah, you've been on this show before, Mike. So you know the level of professionalism we rock. On
I'd expect nothing less, man.
what the?
What?
Confused here.
You
Who
can
is that?
hear me. Just a sec.
I can't even hear you, whoever you are.
Okay.
It looks like Bandito, but it.
Yeah, that's. Oh, I must be quiet.
You are very quiet.
A little bit.
A little bit? No. Let's.
I'll get dressed in a moment.
Okay. All right. You do that. I was just getting through saying about how unprofessional we are in this outfit, and then that happens. How you been, Mike? It's been. It must have been like at least a month and a bit since we last spoke.
Yeah, I think last time I was hanging out with you, it was maybe the first or second week of the campaign.
Yeah. Right. Obviously, a lot has happened since then. You were funded.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a roller coaster, but it's been incredible, and I'm so grateful to all of our backers and readers.
Yeah, I remember on the countdown to the first 30 days, everyone really got behind you there. I remember Ethan was streaming, and we were just flooding his chat with back DEEPWELL and everything.
Yeah,
It was
it was great. You guys, I know Charlie London helped out. Malin helped out a lot, and yeah, like Ethan taking the time to promote it over like 2 or 3 days. It really made all the difference in those last like 2 or 3 days, and really, the only reason I had to extend was we were, I think, about 700 short, and we covered that in 2 days. So basically, we were funded within the first 30, just shy by like 700, and yeah, it was incredible.
Oh well, fantastic to hear. Anyway, obviously, we're going to have a look through the book like we did last time, but I thought as well, since we've had you on before.
Sure.
And we do like to, have a chat with the guests. We don't just want to just sit here and go through the campaign page for an hour.
Yeah,
we might chat to you a little bit about crowdfunding and your experience with it, because you're one of the you're getting to be one of the most experienced people out there. You've had 3 campaigns, is that right?
That's true, and technically 4 with the leftovers campaign for the first printing of Samurai.
Okay, there you go. Definitely. Oh, yeah. He's in.
Yes. Hello. How am I now?
It's way better.
Sound good.
Yes.
Okay. What is that avatar? Let's have a look. What have you got there?
Oh, look at you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, explain it to the people. Everyone may not know.
Well, yeah. So that's Tetsuban Dorrigan, one of the main samurai from Samurai and Dinosaurs. He is a soldier that's crafted a giant dragon mech suit constructed out of iron and bamboo, and it's steam powered.
Excellent. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Before we get started, let's say hello to some people in the fine chat. We got VIP here. He's always one of the first people to get here, so thanks for that, VIP. He says aloha. Keaton Smith says hail, and he brings the fire. Todd Struth says hail, Michael. Hail the other Mike. You're Mike and I'm Michael. That's how we can differentiate today.
Okay. Hail.
Felix is here. How, Felix? How you going, buddy? He's already dropping links. Great to see you here. Nerd is the word, says g'day. Keaton Smith wants to know if there's any sneak peeks of some more Lucent art. I've been banging through the pages. So, yeah. Not right now. Not today. Sorry, Keaton, because I just don't have it on this computer. I'm in my... We've got to cover... it's called The Cottage, but it's not a very cool name. I've got to cover, like, the den, the stream den. I don't know. I'm in my little zone here, and I don't have access to all my files and everything. But yeah, definitely. If I'm going to send an update at the end of this week, so maybe I'll include some of that in that, and also Yeah, on stream, absolutely. Because a lot of this stuff I've actually shared before on Twitter, and but it was just probably a while ago. Blue's in the house there, as he is on the panel, and Joe, Joe, who's been streaming with us a bunch, sent a message and said the kids aren't cooperating, so he's not going to be able to come on the panel, but he'll be in the chat.
Oh, okay.
And
When they don't go to bed, we get
the
punished.
real Bandito. Hail and well met. What was that, Blue? Sorry.
Oh, when they don't go to bed, we get punished.
Exactly, because we like to hear from Joe.
Mm-hmm.
We all get punished. So let's just briefly take a look here at the Man of the Hours campaign page, and this is it. Did you like the thumbnail I made, by the way?
I did. It's great. Yeah.
It's
I'm a big fan of the 6 a.m. Sticker.
Yeah,
it's a great piece.
We all are, aren't we? It's just he does such great work. His interpretations of all the characters, and everyone makes little stickers or something out of them. They're really cool. Oh,
yeah.
Hex Allen says, "Block Lives Matter."
I was waiting the entire time we were running the campaign. I was like, please, no one make that joke. So at least he waited till we were in demand. Thank you.
Is that the guy's name? What's that?
The blocks are the family that the Grey Devil is going up against.
Now I remember. Yep. It's the family thing. Yeah. Yeah, just a little bit controversial at the moment. Especially. We're trying to eschew politics in our campaign. Shane is here. Says, "G'day, gentlemen and chat." Yeah. So here we go. Oh, I've got it set to hang on. I'm clicking things all over the place here. I've got it set to Australian. I always freak people out. It's kind of what I do. They go, "Oh my God, what's happened?" Well, so you're knocking on 10K and 200 backers.
Yeah, we are 5 backers away from 200, and we are $500 away from 10K. So we're almost there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you guys still doing any stretch goals or anything like that?
Yeah, so 10K, we're going to give Raphael a pay bonus because he's going to be doing a crazy amount of work on this book. 12K, we're going to be unlocking another print. It's a family portrait of Jacob Block, the patriarch of the family. Mm-hmm. And at 14K, we're going to do an additional 4-page story that's going to go at the end of the issue. And I'm saving who the artist is until we get closer to that.
Oh, exciting. Yeah. Excellent to hear. Yeah, I love when people can continue to, there's no reason why you can't just keep doing stretch goals as long as the thing is up there and keep adding value to the to what people have bought.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're doing really good. The first 2 campaigns, Samurai, when we went into In Demand, we were at just over 6K. The Gods Fear Me, we were at about 7K. And this one, we were over 9K. So it's the biggest finish that we've had heading into In Demand. And we closed the entire campaign out for Gods Fear Me at just shy of 14,000. So I'm hoping by the time we close this, probably around November or so, mm-hmm. I'm really hoping we can hit at least 14 to 16K.
Well, it's good to see you're out on the circuit still.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Hitting the streams, because you were just streaming earlier, weren't you?
I was. That was a great one. That was my first Fandom Menace show.
I've been on one too, and I've actually got to get that guy over here to get into some CG streams. It's just he's in Israel, and it's hard with the time zones and everything. Right. I think like right now it's sort of his 4 a.m. in the morning or something, so it's not really reasonable for him. But he's this loopy. Well, I wouldn't say loopy, like not in a bad way. He's really zany and animated, and he's a rabbi from Israel, and he's got some great looking stuff. He wants to launch a comic and everything, and his Fandom Menace / CG. There's some we need to kind of get onto more of those things and build those audiences between the two groups.
Yeah, I mean tentatively, like I still have to find an artist and work out some logistics, but tentatively Next year, I'm hoping to do a project that'll be right up Phantom Menace's alley. So yeah, I'll have to see about that.
Nice. Keaton is in the chat, says, really excited to read it, dude. He's actually talking about the Lucent here. I'm just breaking in here. I should ask Az to go on a stream to talk about the Lucent. Yeah, I'd love to talk about the Lucent with Az, if that would be possible. Why is it got to be Block family? You got something against Block people?
Yeah, like the first couple times that I had to do my pitch, I enunciated block as carefully as I could.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Just one second. Okay. So I said what we do. Start of the show. So this is your third quasi fourth campaign,
right?
That you've now successfully had funded. Which, I mean, who else is out there? There's Ethan, Vinny Art did a bunch last year.
Right.
There's a lot of us still who have had successful campaigns, but we haven't done that final step, which was getting the book out, getting it into people's hands.
Right.
What's your sort of I don't know, do you have anything you want to say about it? Have any advice? Any important insights for anyone out there?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm in the position, like I've talked about this on a couple different streams. Since I'm just the writer for these projects, I mean, I'm the studio head, and in some cases I'm handling the writing or the lettering or the coloring or both. But essentially, once I'm done with the script, my job is done until we head into pre-press stuff. So I'm lucky in that kind of frees me up to be like, okay, well, Kristen is still wrapping up art on The Gods Fear Me before we head into pre-press this fall. And so, that freed me up to be like, okay, well, I've fulfilled with Samurai, and we're, actually yesterday we started fulfilling on the leftovers for Samurai. I've banked a certain amount of trust that I don't want to abuse with people in fulfillment.
Yep.
So that frees me up a little bit to focus on more than just one project a year. You've got someone like Narwhal, where he does everything. And I mean, that's incredible, but essentially what that means is we're really only getting one, maybe two projects from him a year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it helps to have multiple art teams that you're working with, and as a studio head, it frees you up, to plan out. Again, I said from last year, I want 2 to 3 books from Chibi every year, and so far it looks like we're sticking to that. So what I would say is, if you're mainly the writer and or studio head for the company, get a title or two under your belt in terms of seeing it all the way through to fulfillment. And if your audience is willing to trust you, then sure, as long as you have dependable and reliable talent working with you, there's no reason why you can't aim for 2, maybe 3 projects a year. It's more exposure. It continues to build your audience, and it helps chip away at that 10 million goal that we in Comicsgate are aiming for this year.
Yeah, man, that's something that I would love to be able to do. 2 to 3 books a year. I'm in exactly the same boat, maybe even worse of a boat, because I also have a job.
Right.
To put out, a couple of books a year would be amazing. But
I thought put out was the end of your sentence.
I got that joke, Blue. Nice one.
Since you're the writer on these things, I was wondering, how long have you been working on being a writer?
Well, I mean, the truth is, like, my day job is I'm a freelance illustrator slash writer. Like, I do some writing for other people, but it's mostly illustration work that I do.
Okay.
But what I discovered in art school, like way back in like the early 2000s, is I am slow as hell as an artist. So, I can do it for my day job, but I learned it was a situation I always equated to like being the bass player in a band. Like I worked with a couple guys in school and we were going to start our own company, but that ended up crashing and burning probably for the best. Um, no one wanted to be the writer. Like no one wanted to learn how to like craft these stories and actually make them readable, learn about like, page and panel flow and, dialogue and all that stuff. And I kind of got forced into it. And eventually over the years, like what I figured out is like, while I'm extremely slow as an illustrator, I'm probably better as a writer anyway. So, I leave the art to people far more talented than me. So really I've been focused on writing since like I'd say 2005 or so.
Can't you just get the pencils that move faster?
I know, right?
Where do I get them blue?
I don't know. So one of the reasons I'm asking is, all right. So professionally, that's where you came out of art school and you found that you were slow to illustrate, will illustrate, but better off as a writer.
Yeah.
So growing up, where did you turn to the arts?
Well, I mean, comics were always kind of a big part of my life. The first thing I ever drew was my mom. She's a retired school teacher, and one day, I think when I was like 4, she brought me home like a giant chalkboard and just set it up in my room. And the first thing I ever drew was Superman. It was just, a smiley face, and the S was his body, and like forward and reverse B's for legs. Yeah. So, I mean, like it was just always, and like then you factor in like my dad was out of the picture for the first few years of my life, and one of the ways he kind of integrated himself back into my life at that young an age was through comics and pop culture. So, like reading comics, watching stuff like, Next Generation, at like 6 years old, but not really having any clue what I was seeing. Like these were all things that were kind of a big part of my life from the beginning. And specifically, I remember the night that Batman the Animated Series premiered. It was the On Leather Wings pilot with Man-Bat.
Okay.
Like that was the first moment where I was like, I think I was maybe 10, and I was like, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like not so much animation, but I understood the weight and the gravity of the story and the way the animation was lending to that. And that was kind of the moment where I was like, I don't know how, but I'm doing this for the rest of my life.
Okay, cool. So did you ever see the film Alien?
Yes, many, many, many times.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you really liked the film Alien or not. Particularly,
Am I missing something?
Oh yes.
Okay.
I think it was influential on him. Is kind of what I've been driving at. So where'd you start? Where'd you get the? Okay, I'm just going to go for the kill. Do you like Alien? I sort of noticed there was an influence from Alien on Samurai and Dinosaur, and I liked it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, there's a bit of Alien in there. I mean, for the most part, Samurai is a road movie. It really is just kind of like, hey, let's hang out with these guys as they go from point A to B. But sure, there's a lot in there, man. There's some Alien. There's obviously,
Did you just
Kurosawa and
assume
Harryhausen.
my gender? Wait.
What did I do?
You said there's a lot in there, man. I'm saying, did you assume my gender? Anyway.
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot in Samurai, along with Alien, and what else?
Yeah, and obviously, like, Kurosawa and Harryhausen, which is, basically how I pitched the entire book as I was marketing it. It's the movie that Kurosawa and Harryhausen never got to make together.
Oh, okay.
And like there were specific. Heading into the script, once I got Sergio to agree to draw it, there were a handful of things that I made a list of stuff that I wanted in there. I wanted an homage to The New Frontier, specifically a character jumping into the jaws of a T-Rex.
Oh.
And the obvious big one is I wanted my Deep Blue Sea moment. I wanted my Sam Jackson moment, and that happens in the cabin. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Keaton Smith has a comment here. He says, I'm trying to write at the moment. It's hard. Hell yeah, it is. I found that to be true as well. It's a story called Purgatory. It's about warriors from different points in history banished to purgatory by witches to compete for freedom.
Okay.
Well, good luck on that, Keaton. Yeah, it's you're damn right. It's hard. It takes years and years. And like you was saying earlier, Mike, when I first started writing as well, I mean, I was just absolutely clueless as to the process and the craft and just basically the ins and outs of telling a story. And yeah, it did take years. I think you said you started in like 2005. I probably started in about 2009, maybe 2010. And yeah, I dove into it as well. I realized once I read back anything that I'd written and I just hated it.
Oh yeah.
That I had to, okay, I've got to actually learn how to do this. There's a method to it. Obviously it's creative, so there's not, it's not one way to do it. But if you're going to structure a story, and like you said, you talked about panel pacing, page pacing, all that sort of stuff, and just the basic structure of a story, especially if it's a heroic story, you got to learn all that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it's something that it's very similar to like what artists go through. It's something that you can study and you can take from creative influences, but at a certain point, you just kind of have to mold all of that into like your own identity, and that just takes repetition and practice and just years.
How are you? This is the big thing that's sort of weighing on me now. And on top of that, I know I can get a book done and get it. I know all the ins and outs of the printing and all that sort of stuff. It's that unknown, the fulfillment end of things. Do you have any kind of advice on that side of things?
Well, okay. So fulfillment was a process for me because I basically did everything wrong. Yeah. So like I bought the wrong label printer. I bought the wrong labels for the printer. The first scale that I got was busted when it arrived, and like all these little things. I mean, they're little things, but you talk about like shipping something back and then waiting for a replacement. Like it was weeks and weeks before like I was actually ready to sit down and start fulfillment. I would suggest treat it like an assembly line and just do everything for one part of it all at once, because if you just like go down the list one by one and like, all right, now I'm going to put together this order, it's going to take you months to get through all those orders.
Yeah, right.
So like, like go into and I know this is like inside baseball shop talk, but like you're going to want to go into your backer list, and you're going to want to sort by like specific tiers and just count up like how many people ordered, like in my case, like how many swag bags, and then just put all the swag bags together. Don't worry about like any other orders, just all the swag bags, and then move on to the next step and the next and the next.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's almost, there's just so much to manage. It feels, where do you start? I mean, obviously, you've got to get the books here and everything, and I've got a bunch of boxes here sitting here waiting, and that
yeah, and you're gonna miss stuff, man, because like there's gonna be like like you'll get all the way done. Like you'll have someone's order like packaged and taped up, and you're like, all right, like I'm gonna print the label, and then you look at it. You look at your backer list, and you notice like in another section they backed a second time at another tier, and you're like, oh, now I. So you're gonna have instances like that where you just get slowed down because like you skip over things or miss something. But yeah, I mean, like, look, the first time's gonna be rough, but I think I have a better sense of what fulfillment really takes when we get to the Gods Fear Me in the fall.
Okay, good. And I told you I was sorry that I backed it twice. I didn't mean to impose on you like that. So.
Well, I'm not. I'm not sorry you backed twice. Thank you very much. That means a lot.
I'm kidding. Don't worry.
How about we quickly go through these perks here?
Sure, man. Happy to.
I like perks.
You like a perk? Good little perk?
I like perk. Yeah. I appreciate good perk.
Good perk, good balance, fullness.
So for $50, you get the swag bag. Tell us about that.
So yeah, like the swag bag is a tier we have on all our campaigns. It's the best, most affordable way if you're really looking to support the campaign to help us out, and you're going to get your money's worth for the return. The swag bag comes with the main book. It comes with the prequel Dime Store novel. It comes with a set of 7 character design trading cards. You're also going to be getting a map of Deepwell, hand-drawn by Raphael. You're going to be getting a print of Myra Block by Vinnie Tartamella, which is actually further down on the page. I just posted that up today. And you're going to be getting a print of The Grey Devil by John Malin.
So there's the Vinnie thing. Have we seen the John Malin yet?
I have. You guys haven't.
Okay.
I just saw it today, and I just, like, my eyes went wide, and I just passed it over to Selena, and she was just like, holy shit.
Fantastic. Yeah, I really I just read the other, well, God, must be like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I just read Graveyard Shift 1 and 2 in anticipation for backing the third one, and yeah, I really dig his art.
Yeah, same here. I'm about halfway done with book 2, and yeah, that book is all class. Like, it's so well designed and executed.
Have we seen this before?
No, that popped up, I think, week 3 of the campaign, so it would have been after I was on with you. Yeah, so Preston Acevedo, the good Preston, best Preston, as Optimus likes to say. With The Gods Fear Me, he did an alternate cover for us, and, you know, we got to talking, and he was like, why don't I do that again? And I was like, yeah, why don't you do that again? So here we go, man. It's beautiful.
It is. It's beautiful. I mean, I just invited Preston to come on. He's probably going to come on, I think later on in the week, maybe the end of the week, maybe Sunday or something. But yeah, I'm excited to talk to that guy because he's got his beak in so many little pies there. He seems to just be a powerhouse, an art powerhouse. So I'm really excited to have a chat to that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Preston is such a great guy, and yeah, as long as he's willing to keep working with us, I'd like him to be Chibi's main alternate cover artist for the foreseeable future.
Hex Allen says, does Mike have a preview of the Deepwell map to show us? He loves maps and shit.
Yeah, I know.
Does the map indicate where all the outhouses are?
Yeah, I could probably dig up like the rough that I sent over to Raphael, but it's literally just like squares, and you know, like this is where the bank is, this is where the well is, you know.
Okay, yeah. So you're getting a proper map done up and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just going to be presented as a print. I have a couple people looking into, but we're not going to do a cloth map or anything crazy like that, like the old Sierra games, but we'll see what we can do in terms of like fancying it up a little bit.
Keaton Smith has a question. Now, here's the problem. I don't know if he's asking Mike or Michael.
He's
If you're
got to be.
asking me, I don't have any plans for a variant cover right now. Trading cards is a maybe. But some people will get a postcard in the Lucent. I don't think there's no variant cover on Deepwell, is there, Mike?
There's no.
Just the Acevedo thing that we just talked about.
Yeah, sorry. Like my signal cut out for a second. There's no what?
Oh, sorry. I meant there's the other than the Preston cover that we just talked about. There's no other.
Oh no,
variant.
no.
Yeah.
So the way that we're probably going to operate for the foreseeable future is the initial campaign will have the main cover and the alternate cover, and then there won't be any new covers until we move into the second printings.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm thinking of as well. Like just to keep things really simple and straightforward.
Right.
I plan on having just that one cover on my campaigns, and that's that first issue one that you can, if you get either on the campaign or in demand, and then I'll print how many of them there are, and then once they're sold out, then that's that. And if I ever do it another printing, then it's going to be a new cover.
Right. Yeah, I like the idea, especially within, Comicsgate and this whole thing we have going on. I really like the idea of you as the initial backer for the first, printing. Like this cover is for you. Like it'll never be reprinted again. And when we move into the second printing on Samurai, like it's not going to be the Kelsey cover. So
even though I do love that cover,
I know it's painful, but it's like, no, it's got to be special. It's got to be for those people,
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so just going back up, what else you got here? So yes, so you've got like we talked about, the Preston alternate cover, single copy.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the digital book and prequel. Remind me about the prequel.
Yeah, so sure. So what the prequel is, the prequel's called The Grey Devil and the Cemetery of Forgotten Deeds. And what it's going to be, it'll be prose with spot illustrations throughout the entire thing. Mm-hmm. And what it covers is let's call it about the decade that it took for the Grey Devil to become the Grey Devil. And most of it takes place at the Cemetery of Forgotten Deeds, which is a secret location out there somewhere in the world where vigilantes across all of American history come to die, and they leave behind their belongings. And when you come to the cemetery, you basically rebuild yourself, and you take pieces from all the different vigilantes, which is why the Grey Devil has like the noose and the cloak and the gloves and the red revolvers. So it's basically everything that led up to his new identity and the initial assault on Deepwell and the Block family.
Right on. So is it, I mean, obviously you recommend people getting it, but is it necessary to read?
No. Like we designed, all of our campaigns like this, where like, if you bought the cabin alongside Samurai, it gives you a bit extra story. If you bought the prequel book for God's Fear Me, it's extra story. But no, like, everyone should be able to get, a complete story and a satisfactory experience at whatever level they back.
Yeah, it is just a thing though that I have, just trying to be frugal and knowing that I do have so many campaigns out there that I want to grab a book on. Right. I have just kind of been backing at the book only tier.
Sure.
And then later on, just being frustrated or, having to go back and refund and then repurchase because I'm like, oh God, that extra stuff does look so good.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's all optional, but I'm telling you, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm biased, but
yeah.
Mike, we need to get your backing skills up just a bit.
I know.
A little more patience, a little more, detail. Just
for some of these campaigns, I've been incredibly patient. I still am waiting to back the Expendables. How's that for patience?
Oh, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, it's gonna end soon, so I've got to actually get onto that because I want to get the hardcover. and
Okay.
with the hardcover and the shipping, it's pretty expensive. And I was like, haven't pulled the trigger on it yet.
Sure.
But Keaton says he's backing all 3 on the secret perk from the mailing list. Just have to wait till payday. Excellent, Keaton. Fantastic. Great to hear.
Wait a minute. Was I on that mailing list? I'll be back in a minute.
Oh no, I think he's talking about Graveyard Shift. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right.
Different thing. I should read the chat more often. You know what happens is in StreamYards, the chat like will flick down if you don't look at it for too long.
Right.
And
right.
And then and as Jim Cox points out, and just stop deleting those Indiegogo emails. Yeah, absolutely. You never know what kind of goodies you can get in there. All right, so there's the book and the prequel there for $30.
Right. So yeah, if you want the entire story, but you don't want to go all the way to committing to the swag bag, this perk, lets you get the complete story.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You've got to support the troops.
Yeah. So this is another tier that we always carry over from campaign to campaign. 2 copies go to you. 3 copies will be going to the U.S. troops via Operation Paperback, and it's just a win-win, thing that's been doing really good for us so far.
Absolutely. Good stuff. The Drogos Blanco special.
Yes. Yeah, I think we touched on this last time.
We did.
I was.
How can I forget that name?
So this is the White Drug special. And it is the ultimate way to support Chibi Comics in this project. You're going to be getting everything from the swag bag level, plus you're going to be getting a copy of Preston's alternate cover, which I should probably revise in this listing. You're also going to be getting a proof copy of DEEPWELL. You'll get an original 11x17 illustration by me and Selena Hernandez, my wife and co-publisher of Chibi Comics. And the big one is you're going to get the final page of DEEPWELL sent to you by Raphael, which is a big deal because he's one of those artists that works digitally only, and I convinced him to draw this one by hand.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so if anyone grows to become a huge fan of Raphael's artwork, which I sure have over the past couple months, this is one of the rare opportunities to get original art from him.
Fantastic, yeah. I'm obviously a big proponent of that as well. I did a similar thing. I'm offering original art on my campaign as well, even being a digital artist. So.
Right.
And yeah, people seem to really take to that. So yeah, good
absolutely.
idea.
For sure, man.
Hail and well met.
Bandito.
How are you guys doing, buddy? Yeah.
How's it going?
Not too bad. I'm having some problems with my avatar. It doesn't quite doesn't want to load up, so I guess we get to use the little Bandito.
Doing the pimple one again.
Yeah, there we go. So, but otherwise, the world is good. The world is safe. How are we doing today?
We're doing well. I'm trying to do what Mike Bandito shared a video with us today about how people need to start talking more about the content of these books. The characters and the story.
The love
and everything.
of these characters. We got to make them beloved.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think we get a little bit caught up in as creators. We get a little bit caught up on the promotion side of things. But I mean, the reality is, we have a vision for something that we want to create, and it is, it's only the goodwill of the fans that we have of these projects that we're doing that allows us to see fulfillment in that vision. So if we are going to, if we want to promote our books, I mean, we need to show the reason that these characters need to be embraced.
I completely agree with you, and I can say pretty much none of that stuff in regards to the Grey Devil because of the whole thing is his identity is the main mystery of the book.
But what about? Oh yeah, I guess the reason that he's on his trials and tribulations is
Yeah.
Yeah.
the journey that he's on.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, with the Gods Fear Me, like, I had no problem going on about, like, Kedzie and how I drew from characters like Ripley, going back to Alien, and Sarah Connor and a handful of others, like the motherly, strong woman archetype, and how she was like part soldier, but also devoted to saving mankind, and how Brian, this young boy, kind of comes to represent all of humanity to her, and that bond that they form. Like, I had no problem going on at lengths about that stuff because like there was no kind of mystery to who she was. But
Yep.
I've been thinking about this problem a lot with talking about DEEPWELL, in that I can tell you about the blocks, and I can tell you why the Grey Devil is riding into town, that it's this revenge thing dating back like 20 years, but anything else, and I'm basically like, well, this person is this person, so it means they're doing this because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, well, I think sometimes because we have new IPs, well, actually, you come with the benefit of having done a few books and fulfilled. So, I mean, people can actually get behind your storytelling and stuff. But I think for especially some of the new creators, sometimes you gotta give a little bit more away. So,
yeah, no, I totally get it. I mean, and again, like I said at the start, like I completely agree with you. So maybe, to new creators out there, don't like build the entire mystery of your book around the main character so that you can't talk about them.
Yeah, no, man, it is. I as well. The one of the big reasons that I wanted to write a story is because I would love all these stories, and just the one thing that would kind of niggle at me is they would give away the mystery too early. Or
sure.
Because that was all, the anticipation is always the best part. And and once that mystery is gone, then you still, all the characters you still love, and the plot's still going, everything, but all of a sudden now there's something missing from the experience that was there before. So I've had a real hard time talking about the Lucent. Because it is as well, that it is all peeled back. I don't do exposition. I don't tell the history and everything. I just throw the people right in the middle of it. And I do give you a character who doesn't know anything. So, that's the thing that you can do as a writer, to give people, someone who doesn't know anything, so then they can ask questions and, help the reader along that way. But when you're talking about it to prospective customers, it makes it really difficult. You're right.
I mean, like even now, like I'm struggling to be like, well, like even if I just say like what the main theme of the book is, if I just say, well, DEEPWELL is a story about blah, even just the theme, like people can easily put two and two together and be like, oh, well, that's who he is. So it's like I've just focused on the overall plot, whereas normally I do agree, like because like you're right, that is what the readers want. They want to become invested with the characters, they want to empathize with them, and that's how you really build up a strong IP. I mean, just look at Cyberfrog. It's he's not even a human, he's this frog, and everybody loves him. I should look, when we get to book 2 of DEEPWELL and everyone knows who the Grey Devil is, I'm happy to talk about all this minutiae stuff with characters.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I think we just have to say, well, we're just going to have to do our best with our charming personalities and our big smiles and our good art, and just obviously you're way ahead of me because you've already fulfilled 3 to 4 times, or 2 to 3 times already. So you can like say, well, I've done that, I've been there. I'm just going to have to keep, getting out there and making sure everyone knows that I'm here. And, I'm a real person. I've got real ambitions. I want to take this thing all the way. And then let's wait. We'll have to wait until some of the story is out, and then we can have those really cool discussions. Because we were on Liam's stream last night, and they were talking about Transformers. And they were really getting into the motivations and the kind of the deep lore and everything. And I think that is like a crucial sort of missing element to what we're doing here on these streams, is we're not having enough of those streams where we do get into the kind of the minutia of these characters. And maybe it's just because there aren't enough books out yet. So you probably couldn't even do it with Cyberfrog yet, because we're still waiting for the second book. But you could do it with Graveyard Shift probably. You
probably could, yeah. I mean, like, I have to imagine by the time we're on like year 4 or year 5 of CG, and everyone's got multiple installments of their series out. Like, I think a lot of these types of conversations you're talking about are going to be not only possible, but they're going to kind of be the norm. It's going to be less like these promotion streams are going to be less sell me on the concept of your book. And it's going to be more like, oh, so what's going on in this issue?
Yeah.
Well, and I look at Ethan when he was campaigning for Cyberfrog initially. He did have a lot of stuff to fall back on, lots of backstory and that type of stuff that was from the 90s. But he focused a lot on Heather Swain and he made people kind of fall in love with her and her plight, kind of along the way. Right. And so that was, I mean, I don't know if maybe it's a thing to consider as we're developing our books and our projects, to have something that we can give.
Well, he also did a lot with Chelsin, the mother.
Right.
Yes. Really, that first book with the appendix is, it looks like it's about Heather Swain in one way, and yet it's all about Chelsin in another way. And now that she's gone, as far as we know, we can talk about her a ton.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, that's what we need to start doing more.
Yeah, I mean, and like honestly, some of this stuff has kind of filtered into like what we've got planned next. Like once God Spare Me is fulfilled in the fall, there's our next project lined up, which will probably be between November and February, probably leaning towards February. And that's going to be much easier to talk about because like the mystery, there is no mystery to the main character, and it's the entire story is driven by the plight and the situation that the main character finds themselves in. So it's all about getting the audience invested in the character.
That's what we need, right?
Yeah.
Keaton has a question. Where do you guys see Comicsgate in 5 years? The year 2025.
Dude,
we'll be driving flying cars.
Right. I mean, like I'm ultimately an optimist, so my knee-jerk response is like in a really great place with all of us continuing to find success and readers and customers getting exactly what they want. I mean, that's what matters most to me. But I don't know, because you look at what Comicsgate is and how it's evolved and who's come into the scene and left just in 2 years, and I can't imagine what it's going to be like in 5.
There's a couple interesting things that I'm waiting to see if they happen. One will be if there's a creator that can figure out the below $15 price tag for their books.
Sure.
And if there is a creator that can figure out how to produce more than just 1 or 2 books a year.
Right.
So I think it'll be interesting because if they can do that, if he can do something that's bi-monthly, I think that will end up being the model to beat. That'll be the model to replicate.
Sure.
I'm kind of in stark disagreement with you there, Bandito.
Mm.
I think this system replicates what happens in Europe.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we've
Yes.
talked about that in the past.
In the French scene, and they sell premium books, hardcover books that are quite expensive. I think they're about 18 euros. I don't know what that is in US dollars, but it's probably comparable.
Right. It's about
to
25
what
or
we're
so.
doing. There you go. And they bring them out once or twice a year, often once a year.
Right.
And I don't think anyone over there feels like there's a dearth of things to read, because you go into one of these graphic novel bookstores,
Mhm.
and man, you're spoiled for choice. So yes, you're not going to be able to read the same story continuing unless it happened, all started 10 years ago.
Right.
But there's a lot of those that are, you can read Metabarons now, and there's a massive volume of that to read. And I just think this system seems to work. The fact that someone like me can just come along and make a bunch of money and get the name out and put the book out and all that sort of stuff says to me other people are going to be looking at what I've done and what Mike's done, and then obviously at what guys like Ethan and John and Doug Tenaple have done, and guys like that, and think there is something in this. So yeah, I think I'm with Mike in being an optimist as well, not an optimist, Optimus Prime. I think it's going to continue to grow. Just the sheer economics of the thing. I'm not sure that trying to go back and replicate the periodical ways of the past is necessarily the way forward for us. But if someone can do it and it works out, then prove me wrong.
I tend to agree with you, Michael. I like the format of like, hey, here's like one prestige format, book a year. But I still, as a writer and as a publisher, I still like having more than just one thing out a year. But that's where it's like, well, like again, like if I manage to get this last book out before the end of the year, even though I'm pretty positive it's going to be February, next year is all just going to be sequels for Chibi Comics. So I like the idea of like, we have like 3 books that are going to run for 3 issues each, and you get like one installment of each of them a year. And it keeps our name out there, it keeps the audience invested. Like while they're waiting for this, if they're into one of our other books, they can get that one. And I like that cycle. The one thing that I'll say about 5 years from now is I think we're going to be in a way better place when it comes to fulfillment and distribution.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, like you've tentatively got, like Malin talking about like, well, maybe I could, offer my services, and you've got Samedi setting up his big thing.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be in a place where like this whole conversation we had about fulfillment 10 minutes ago isn't going to be an issue anymore.
Right. And there's a lot of people who can't even, throw the hat in the ring right now at all.
Right.
There's that guy who's with amazing art. I can't remember his name right now. He can't start an Indiegogo because he's not in the right country. Indiegogo doesn't have a...
He's in Brazil or something?
Yeah. So there's how many amazing Brazilian
artists he's in the chat
there?
right now. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Stefani.
Yeah.
Oh, is that... Oh my God. What a coincidence. Is that you, Yes, it is you. How you going, buddy? Yeah, we got to get you on the show, man. There you go. I was just... that is so funny that I had no idea. I just highlighted your comment too. And,
yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah, so we need guys like this on Indiegogo. So,
yes.
We can't force Brazilian government to honor some trade agreement or something or whatever it is. But what we can do is we can get trustworthy individuals in the States who want to set up a business running Indiegogo campaigns or fulfilling or whatever it may be. Antoine said earlier, what did you say? The price point issue is easily resolved if your print run is sufficient. The question is if creators want to charge lower the prices when 25 is acceptable. And yeah, like how many have I done already? Like 540. When you take out all the expenses and then the taxes and everything, when you think about the amount of work and time that you put into these things, the cut that the actual, the creators get at the end of the day,
Right.
even at this level, is actually really pretty small for the amount of work that goes into it. So, I think you have to be, doing sort of Cyberfrog numbers to even start considering, like lowering prices for these independent creations.
Yeah,
I'll just real quick. I'll be honest. So the Samurai Leftovers campaign that like we're currently fulfilling. This is the first time out of all 3 campaigns that we're like actually talking about profits. Like the main campaigns themselves, like we just 100% break even on. It literally just covers the cost of the artist, the cost of the books, and the cost of fulfillment.
Yeah. And it does take a while in order to get to that stage where you are pulling in profits. I'm considering that I won't be making any profits until my 3rd book.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for me, I do get to make a profit, quote unquote, even though the government is going to take 47 cents on the dollar of whatever that may end up being.
Yikes.
But, all I'm really doing is paying myself on my own time. All that time I would have been paying an artist anyway, so if I was just the writer or whatever, or the creator or whatever, I'd be shipping that money to the artist anyway. So it is an interesting thing to think about. But then again, if people are happy to pay $25, and I think they are, and a lot more than that, if the if the product warrants it, it's probably going to stay at that level. Prices don't tend to go down unless there's downward pressure, and that would require a separate group of people or creators who are putting out a product that is more appealing to the CG fans and Comicsgate fans. And I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Not from the mainstream, at least.
No.
The mainstream books, when Marvel isn't cheating and giving you an 18-page book, they'd bottom out at 20 normally. And so if you think about that, in 3 months, that's 60 pages. And where I disagreed with Bandito on the bi-monthly, everybody disagrees with you, Bandito.
I know. It's okay.
Yeah. So where I disagreed with him on that was, no, I thought maybe quarterly, which is every 3 months. But then quarterly at 48 pages is fewer pages than the mainstream puts out, but far higher quality, and we're paying the artist directly. The only thing that's going to put downward pressure on the price is volume. So as Comicsgate grows, it's the growth in the audience that would enable that price drop, because page rate or hourly, that has to be paid.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like the TV industry went through this same issue when streaming started to become a thing. Well, even before streaming, like really when HBO became a thing. When HBO came in with The Sopranos and The Wire, and they were like, hey, we're only doing like 8 to 10 episodes of this thing a year, as opposed to like 48 episodes with like a summer break.
Or Oz, I think, was 8 episodes each.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, the TV industry went through this thing already. It's like I think the audience understands, okay, technically I'm getting less content, but it's better content delivered, on a reliable pace, and there aren't like a whole bunch of filler episodes that nobody cares about, including the people making them.
And
when you consider
as a buyer, we have to have limits too. Like, I really don't want to dip into fewer than 48 pages unless the price goes down. And there are other people who put out floppies, black and white floppy for starting at $10. It's like, okay, pretty low, but they're doing black and white, and it's just 20 or 24 pages.
Sure.
And it jumps up from there. They do 32. It's $20. You know, but there is sort of a it's in the States. No offense, Mike. It's 25 plus 10. So really, it's $35 to everybody. And maybe one way to reduce the price there is improvements in this distribution and fulfillment.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, like, like the reason that we kind of split the difference here at Chibi Comics is purely economical. You know, we like to keep our campaigns lean at, you know, a $6,000 goal. And with the caliber of artists that we've been hiring, that means that we can afford to pay them for 32 pages worth of work. And, you know, at that price, at that page count, I'm not comfortable with 25 because 48 pages is kind of the accepted standard for $25. So that's why we shaved it down to 15. So, you know, it's not as much content as a 48 page book, but it's still more than like a monthly floppy would be. And yeah, so that seems to be working for us so far.
Yeah. By the way, I forgot that your book was shorter and cheaper.
VIP says in 5 years, he thinks people will start finally getting cash grab in the mail.
No, that's a lie.
And yeah, that's never happening. Mo Big says, I pay my artists in exposure. I'll stop exposing myself once I get Me Too'd.
Wow.
Keaton again says 25 is good, especially when CG books go up in price on the secondary market. Yeah, it is expensive. And as someone mentioned earlier, it may even be Keaton. You know, if you're international, it's a higher shipping price as well. And then especially if you're in Australia where the dollar is lower, these things can really add up. So the only solution to that is become a creator yourself and then claim it on tax.
I mean, like regarding like, you know, going back to earlier what we were talking about, you know, for first time campaigners, especially based in the US, I highly recommend going with a service like Stamps because you are going to need to have that, you know, percentage taken off when you get into international shipping. If it wasn't for international shipping, like as it was, I already had to invest like a couple hundred of my own money to get all the international orders out. But without Stamps and, you know, the discount that they offer, that amount would have been way, way higher than it ended up being.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we don't have Stamps, but we do have business post or something like that, and you do get a reduced rate depending on how many shipments you make. Is that how Stamps work as well?
No, it's just like you have it's basically a monthly membership fee, and for that fee you get a reduced price on the postage.
So the more you use it, the more it makes up for the fee.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, which is good, you know, when you're talking about CG books where you've got anywhere from like 200 to like 500 or 1,000 orders. Like if you can get all of those out within a month, like you're really getting your money's worth.
Yeah.
This is another issue Antoine has brought up, which is the waiting time for fulfillment. I think there is going to be increasingly downward pressure on that specific element of it. And that, you know, remember at the start, it was just like, put up a couple of pages, you know, get the campaign out and then do the work later. And, you know, if it comes in the next year or so, well, you know, they tried their best. Continue, you know, going forward, that's not going to fly as much. I mean, you know, the people have kind of been grandfathered into that because that was just sort of how it was done back in the day. And, you know, we all kind of cut them some slack. But moving forward, I mean, even, you know, I think everyone who's starting a campaign is starting to feel the pressure on that front, and it's only going to get tighter and tighter.
I liked where you started with your campaign, with the book pretty much, you know, for all intents and purposes, pretty much finished. And you were able to display the pages in mini thumbnails on your thing, and to show that, you know, you were making, you only had a small amount of progress that you had to make. And be able to have it done pretty much before the end of the campaign. I think that is the perfect
Yeah, but I think in a couple of years, even what I did will be not good enough. You know, it'll need to sort of be coming out pretty much almost straight away. I think that's probably the direction it feels like it's heading anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sure.
As Chaotic Neutral points out.
And that's kind of where, you know, like if we're talking 5 years from now, like the people who are in this for the long haul, like hopefully you're starting to build up a nest egg and you have like a steady readership that you can depend on whenever you launch a product. And that's really where you can get into like saving up money to pay an artist to get like a huge jump start on the next project, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, it's been an hour.
Wow.
It's actually
It's
been
been
a
an
little
hour.
bit more than an hour. So we're going to have to close out here.
Oh,
But,
you're ending late as well as starting late?
I know. I'm feeling like I can just get a bit loosey-goosey because I'm working from home now, but I really shouldn't because I do have a lot of work to do. So I'm just eating into my time later on. But Mike, it's been great to have you back and chat about all this stuff with you.
Always, man. Thanks for having me on. It was a blast.
Yeah, and it's great to see another really good book getting funded, and you know all your plans sound like they're chugging along, you know, as expected, which is amazing to see. Just yet another example of the system working. So
yeah,
that's
knock
good.
on wood,
And
man. It's going great.
I forgot to bring up that after the Stefani, sorry man, we stream for exactly an hour every night. This is my lunch hour stream, so I'm like doing this in my lunch break. But you're more than welcome to hang out any day. What are you guys laughing at?
The chat and you. And
Exactly
Okay.
an hour. Exactly.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
There's a little timer above your head, Mike. It says 107:02.
Yeah. Well, all right. I mean, more or less. More or less. You know what we say here: close enough is good enough. That's our motto in Australia.
That works for me.
Oh, now you've thrown me off track here. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So I found out. I remembered. I actually learned this, and then I forgot, and then I found out again. Mike has a son.
Yes.
And what's the name of your son, Mike?
Clark. He's screaming in the background right now because he doesn't.
And
want
how
to go to
old
bed.
is your son?
He just turned 2.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, tell me about it.
The odds. What are the odds?
So is Mike,
and his name is Michael, and my name is Michael.
Yes, we know. Mm-hmm. So is Mike American Bancroft or is Michael Ozzie Murphy?
and hang on, your wife Selena, right?
Yep.
Does she speak Spanish?
She is Hispanic, but she doesn't speak Spanish.
Oh, we were so close.
So close.
Because my wife is French, and we do a bilingual thing here. So I wanted to find that up. If we had gone there, it would have been off the charts.
Too much.
Right.
Too much. The universe would have imploded if you had said yes. You're doing a bilingual.
Yeah, it can't be that much on the nose, my friend.
I know. We've got to make it believable for the people.
Right. You've already said too much.
Antoine wants to know who is the better looking Michael. Well, I think that's obvious. And
obviously.
I'll leave it at
Obviously.
Well, one has a face for radio, I guess.
Exactly.
And we're not going to go into who that is.
No.
But the evidence is present.
Yeah, look, I mean, again, we know the answer already. It's, you don't even have to ask it. So
you need to cut the stream before we get to.
I know we do.
Yeah,
All right,
John,
guys.
this is
Thanks
another
so much for coming on, Mike, as well. It's been a blast. Hail the chat, sexiest chat in CG. Thanks so much for coming out. Thanks for all your great questions and comments, and we will see you tomorrow.
Later.
Finally, get this pimple off.